Hello and welcome to Raw Impressions. Many people have been asking if I can sing a song, me, four-track man.
They have, it's true.
The perennial MC around these Raw Impressions parts. I'm happy to play a song today. Lou and Adele, I didn't even know if they would do the show today, but they're here, I think. I can't see them.
We're here.
I'm trapped in a tape machine.
Get used to it.
But I wanted to cheer them up with a jaunty folk song. Lou and Adele went to Wisconsin, and Lou was bequeathed several songbooks, one of which is a Peter, Paul, and Mary songbook, and containing all of these uplifting folk songs from the 1960s. From the 1960s. And I wanted to play this song just to cheer them up because they're feeling a bit down, they're feeling a bit introspective and, wondering if they should just start talking about themselves in a time when we're thinking about other people. But hey, I just thought I would get this off to a start here with this song. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Little Jackie Paper loved that rascal Puff and brought him strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Oh, Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. So I have to turn the page, songbook. Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Turn back to the chords and the first page, but the lyrics are.
It's hard to sing and play from the songbook by yourself.
I can't remember the chords and then sing this verse that's just. Anyway, that's probably enough. I'll be back with something else a little bit later.
Oh.
If you want me to be. Only then. I'll see how it goes.
Yeah, see how it goes.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, as it were, to Raw Impressions. Thank you. Take it away, Lou and Adele. Cheer up if you can.
Thanks, four-track man. Yep, Adele and I are back from a trip to Wisconsin. We went to visit her mom for a couple days.
Yep.
It was a very emotional, beautiful visit.
It was really nice to be there with you and no kids, just so that we could really be present and helpful and quiet. Just kind of, there's a lot of needing for quiet because just regular day-to-day activities is very tiring for my mom who has ALS. And we are trying to be very respectful of what she needs right now in her time. And it was really nice to be there with you. And I felt a lot of things because as we were there, then I woke up after our first day there and saw the news about LA. And so it was a lot of things, like juggling the feeling of being with my mom and in this like frigid, icy place.
It was really cold.
It was very cold.
By the way, people from Massachusetts,
Yeah.
it ain't cold here. It's not.
It's really not
Sorry.
cold. It's true. It practically felt balmy when we came back. I was like, where's my t-shirt? You know?
Where are my flip-flops?
Yeah, where's my shorts at? So it was a pull of many places, you know, in my heart, and I know for you as well. When we were there, it was complex.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stark landscape in Wisconsin in the winter. Mm-hmm. But they live on a lake, and there was no snow on the ground, so the lake was just ice. Like you could see the ice. It was and the ice would sort of shudder and make these deep groans.
Moaning sounds as
Yeah.
it moves and shifts and cracks and then refreezes.
And we just sat there and just talked to your mom, and
We put away the Christmas tree.
we put away the Christmas tree, which was, I felt kind of honored to be there, honestly.
Yeah.
Because she was telling the stories of each ornament as she was putting them away in the boxes. And Valerie Atkinson, my mother-in-law, she's got, the stuff is tight, wrapped, boxed, stacked in cupboards. And I mean, really well organized home.
Yeah.
She has, and also her life organized, beautifully organized. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I came across these, I don't know what made me, I was just downstairs looking for something.
Their basement area, they have a finished basement and in their house, and it also is where like the storage is for, you know, the Christmas ornaments and things like that. But then they also have a bookcase down there.
Yeah.
And we were just sort of wandering over there and looking at things. And then a couple of like art books would catch our eye because both of my parents are artists.
Yeah, beautiful old art books.
Yeah.
Modern art books, classic art books. Mm-hmm. And then I found this absolutely gorgeous I just dropped my fact notebook. I found this beautiful Joan Baez songbook, it's a songbook of the songs, the folk songs that she sang. And the folk songs are actually, they're not from the 60s. Actually, a lot of them are blues and country. You could even say country songs. They're songs that I know from country artists, but just these old songs that have been passed down through the generations as folk songs, blues songs.
Yeah. My mom had, and my dad both, I'll just say it, they have really good taste in music. They were cool. They were beatniks and artists, and like straight up had incredible record collections. And my mom went to Woodstock, and she loved Joan Baez, loves Bob Dylan, and my oldest brother is named after Bob Dylan. So,
and I had just seen the Bob Dylan movie.
Yeah.
With the two older kids.
Yep, and that was fun for you to be able to talk about that to my mom.
Yeah, because I think she'll be able to see it.
I hope so.
On TV pretty soon, because movies do that. They move to TV pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. I think she'll really enjoy it. It's a really fun film.
Yeah.
So I had folk music on my mind, and just that explosion of folk music and that sort of tumultuous time of the very early 60s when Bob Dylan came to New York City from Minnesota, and his relationship with Joan Baez is really explored, and sort of elaborated on. I would say they took a lot of liberties. It's not factual, I would say, but it's fun. Mm-hmm. They arranged the facts in a fun way, and so being there and your mother's presence and realizing the importance of Joan Baez to her and what I had just sort of experienced in the film and that being fresh in my mind, did make me really, it was fun to reconsider folk music, Yeah. Interesting thing is that the Bob Dylan movie doesn't really, there's only one mention of Peter, Paul, and Mary, but Peter, Paul, and Mary were really the ones that really popularized his music. Like they put out Blowin' in the Wind before he did. In the movie, they sort of say that Joan did it first, which she may have as well, but Peter, Paul, and Mary had a number 2 hit with it. Wow. And Bob Dylan made $5,000 from that.
Wow.
Which was like the most money he'd ever made up until that point. But that's something that was only
Interesting.
that's not in the movie. They don't really like linger on Peter, Paul, and Mary in the movie. But Puff the Magic Dragon is a hit from 1960. Let me pick up my dropped fact book.
What happened? Everything okay? Are we still rolling?
Still rolling.
I have to hold,
Do
please.
something.
A little like dryness in my throat, but I'm okay. Sip there. So sorry. Okay.
Puff the Magic Dragon was a hit in 1962.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most... I thought it was... I actually sat down with your mom and said it was about marijuana, which it's not. I said that Honolulu refers to Honolulu Bay in Kauai, which it absolutely does not.
Wow, you were just...
I was really... I'm looking back at... Because recently when I've been talking to people... And then I sort of, like a few hours or days later, I reconsider I go through what I said. I'm like, that was absolute bullshit.
Lou facts. We've been talking about that.
And I imagine
podcast listeners who've been here from the beginning know.
Oh my God! And your father is actually the most knowledgeable person.
I know, he is like a walking encyclopedia.
But he's very quiet. So I'm at home now thinking about this. He must have just been sitting there quietly thinking, "Well, no, not really. Nope, that's probably not true." No, I mean,
I know.
Like,
I know.
I'm just like
the most polite corrector.
But he didn't actually correct me. But now that I'm home, I'm like, oh God, that's right. Your son-in-law's like kind of full of shit.
Oh my
Dave.
God.
And your mom's just looking at me, blinking while I'm like telling these half facts. Puff the Magic Dragon is from a poem from 1959. By a friend of Peter.
I remember it when I was little, like in elementary school, early elementary school, us singing it.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, no. It's like one of the most popular children's songs of all time. And it's fucking depressing. I read, I'm like, that's the thing, 4-Track Man is talking about an uplifting. The song is it ends horribly. Like, Puff goes back into the kid dies because he's human. Puff lives forever.
Oh.
And he goes into a cave as his scales fall off and disappears into the cave.
I don't think I ever really listened.
Oh, I'm looking through these books for something else to play.
Izzy heard me playing it and was like, "Oh, Dad, that song's really sad."
Oh.
Of Puff.
Interesting.
So she'd actually picked up on that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I'll just... Altadena, Altadena.
Yeah, I was sitting playing guitar, or 4-Track Man was sitting playing guitar. He was thinking of another song to play from the folk songbooks. And he was thinking about what happened this week in the city that we love and where we met. Something really catastrophic happened, and it's been very vivid for us because we lived in that area. We visit that area regularly. Altadena in particular, Pasadena, Burbank, Glendale, all in sort of the same northern part of Los Angeles County where we lived. And I think what happened there is certainly worthy of, something really beautiful, because what a beautiful song, but any words would be words. Absolutely. I can't think of anything to say.
I think we're both so unmoored by it.
Yeah.
And you see it on people's comments and things, sending you love and to people out there. And I know it can sound hollow or generic after a while, but I feel helpless. And I do send my love, and I hold everyone there so close. And it's thoughts and prayers and money and donating to GoFundMe's, which I'm doing. And there's tons and tons of information out there. You can find it all, how to help people. But it's individuals. And I think that's been hitting me so hard, is just all the individual stories of people and how they've lost everything. And
close friends.
Yeah, and oddly, a friend of mine from a long time ago who's a Minnesota transplant in LA actually may have been the person to even notify authorities of the Eaton Canyon fire, which is wild. It started in his backyard.
The first 911. He was the first 911 call.
It's so odd, and
it's odd for some the relevance of him in our lives, and how when Adele and I first got together, we actually spent some of our first nights together as a couple in his house.
Yeah,
and on. He actually enabled a single that I recorded with Ahmad Wasif called Tres Padres. Anyway,
we're just
and Ahmad lost his house in the fire, or his house was in the fire as well. So. Our
friend Yazi, and her from Bandsplain, among other things. And I mean, it's funny because people have asked me many countless times since moving from Los Angeles, why do you like it there so much? Because it always comes up how much I love LA and I miss it, and it's just it's such a part of me, and it's so personal. It's so hard to put that into like a neat little box for someone to make them understand, and it's not for everyone. It's not a city for everyone. And that's also okay, and I've had people who've gone there and it didn't work for them and they left and they were like, that's not for me. But it's a city that when I was there in my early 20s, I'll call her she, I don't know. She unfolded and opened up to me over a period of time, and, really, really cradled me during some of the hardest times of my life. And I feel forever indebted to that city. And when I go back there, my love has never changed. And I always feel immediately right at home. I slip right back into it. And Lou and I go back every year, sometimes more than once a year. And it's just very near and dear to us. And I actually have tickets to be there in a month with Izzy. And we don't even know if my Airbnb is still standing because it's right on the border of Pasadena and Altadena, because that's our place and we love it. So I don't know. And I don't know how to talk to Izzy about it. And there's a lot of things that are question marks right now, but we are very much holding LA close right now. And sending our love.
Yeah, that area was really, it's where we met, like I said, but it's also where I spent some really difficult and very enlightening times in my life. But one of my favorite memories, I have so many of these really strong visual memories. And there's a street, Avenue, Los Feliz, Boulevard, I should say. Boulevard, Los Feliz Boulevard. It runs from Hollywood into the San Fernando Valley, into Glendale. And at some point, if you're going west, you have Griffith Park on your left. And there was a fire there when I lived there that was terrifying.
When we both lived there,
We both lived there on a hill in Silver Lake.
Didn't know each other
At the time. But boy, I mean, that was my first wildfire that I saw from my house, which was terrifying. And the color of the flames, the blood red color of the flames, and the embers falling around the neighborhood.
We were neighbors and didn't know it. And I was on the same hill in LA in Silver Lake, and I had a balcony view looking also at the Hollywood sign and the observatory, which is inside of Griffith Park. And I watched that in terror. I was so scared. I felt especially unnerved by it. But my memory, is driving on Los Feliz Boulevard and sort of cresting this hill and then coming down into Glendale. And I did that once while Van Halen was playing. It was like, I don't know, like Ain't Talking About Love or something, like incredible Van Halen song. And it was just before we met. And my life at that point was it was at this strange, I just felt this strange, there was change in the air. And things felt especially crisp and beautiful because I was very open at that point. I felt something. And I felt also that my time in LA was sort of cresting. Like I had come from a really hard point in my life and had come back from that and was rediscovering myself and feeling better about myself and realizing that so much of that was due to surrendering to the beauty of the city. And you and I talk about this a lot. Yes, that's what called both of us.
Yeah, and I'm listening to this wild sounds of Van Halen and this view too, overlooking, sees as far as Altadena, really. You just see this, all sort of the cities spread before the foothills there. And I'm listening to Van Halen and just like the windows down and I'm like, and I remember just feeling so thankful and just so surprised that I felt like a city, like a place that I was actually part of this rejuvenation and this rebirth in me. I really felt that. And I had many moments like that.
Me too.
In my latter years in LA.
Me too.
And, you and I, That was
This 4-track, man.
I think this is like the instrumental reprise of his wordless song.
Well, we
for Altadena.
And the Palisades and everyone affected. I mean, God, I drove that Sunset Boulevard from Silver Lake all the way to the ocean. Was one of my absolute favorite drives.
I only did that twice.
Oh, I loved it so much.
I only did that twice.
I did it when my parents came to visit, and we were talking about that.
Yeah.
How when you get dumped out.
We did it with your parents.
Did we do it with them too?
We did. We went by the Playboy Mansion, and that was one of the funny. Your father's a very tasteful guy. But when we were first learning about the fires, he said,
"The Playboy Mansions."
I wonder what happened to the Playboy Mansion.
I said, "Well, I think it's okay. It's still in Bel Air. I believe it's in Bel Air." But, that drive is just, it takes your breath away. And that was the thing about LA, is it took my breath away again and again. And you could take Sunset all the way to PCH, and it just dumps you out, and you'd see Pepperdine on your right and the Will Rogers Beach stretched out in front of you, and just the sparkling ocean, and it's truly breathtaking. And
my fantasy life as an older gentleman,
ironically, was to live in the Palisades. I know,
to live in Pacific Palisades.
Lou had dreams of wearing white linen and padding around, and maybe going for coffee at a little local place
and
there,
and then just going to Will Rogers Beach.
Yeah,
it's a very long beach. Walking into the ocean, like up to my hips, and then dunking down in the water, splashing the water in my face, and then walking back to my house.
I mean, you did. You had a very well-developed fantasy.
I would just walk into the ocean and walk back home.
I know, and I was like, well, if we're going to retire the dream life in Pacific Palisades, I thought, maybe I'll have a tiny little Barlow Family General Store right there in the little town, because Palisades, the thing is, LA is a huge, huge city filled with many different towns within it. They all have their little downtown, and Altadena had one, Pasadena has one, Glendale, they all have their little kind of center, and Pacific Palisades, was no different. And
that was a fantasy.
It was a fantasry for sure.
That area.
I mean,
it's sort of a bit of a guilty favorite, I would say, for me, because it's very affluent.
Yeah.
And I really, that was a dream.
But a little more kind of, I'd say, an unexpected place to drop versus like, Beverly Hills and stuff like that. It's like, so, I don't know what to say, but just, we love you, LA.